Good day, everyone. This webinar is presented by Training Location, your DiSC provider. Thanks for joining us today. We are an authorized DiSC distributor for Wiley Publishing, as well as a channel partner with the Ken Blanchard companies. My name is Bill Harshman. Please stick with me to the end of the video for a complimentary resource and one small request. Our topic today is interaction between DiSC styles, specifically the C conscientious with another C conscientious style. This session is one in an ongoing series discussing the interaction between and among the four DiSC styles, which include dominant, influence, steady, and conscientious. And before we begin, let's review the cornerstone principles of DiSC. All DiSC styles are equally valuable. No one style is better than another. Everyone is a unique blend of all DiSC styles, and your unique primary style is also influenced by other factors such as your life experiences, your education, your maturity. Let's take a look at what I call the PACE and priority model. It's the essential tool for preliminary diagnosis, discussion, and understanding DiSC styles and their relationship to each other. The vertical dimension represents what I call pace, and we see the descriptors at the top and the bottom of that pace continuum. This is what I call your outward activity level. The horizontal dimension represents what I call priority, and we see those descriptors at the left and the right of the priority continuum. Now, I like to refer to this as your agreeableness quotient. What I mean by that is those who are agreeable place a higher priority on cooperation and social harmony, whereas those who are less agreeable place a lower priority or concern for cooperation and social harmony. It is this interaction between these two continua which forms the four quadrants of the DiSC model. Now, as we look at this simple grid, we can begin to make the unique pace and priority pairings into each quadrant. If we look at the lower left quadrant, cautious and reflective pace with a questioning and skeptical priority will tend toward a C or conscientious style, which is the topic of our lesson today. I also want to point out that the C style shares a cautious and reflective pace with the steady or S style, and they share a questioning and skeptical priority with the D or dominant. Now, these sharings will come in later in the webinar. Remember, we always consider both pace and priority just to help us begin to understand a style. The C has a more cautious and reflective pace with a questioning and skeptical priority. When we combine this pace and priority, we see refined descriptors such as precise, analytical, systematic, reserved, and quiet. The C style is about ensuring accuracy, maintaining stability, and challenging assumptions. If they had a motto, it would be do it right. So let's say we have two people who are about challenging assumptions, reserved and quiet, yet focused on doing it right. Can you begin to see how project or task completion between two C styles might be affected? Let's continue. What might help understand the previous descriptors is to understand what drives the C style. Wiley research indicates the following core theme or need. Now, to understand a C, we must first understand that people with this style have a strong instinct to analyze. Now, this analytical theme is driven by three needs. There's a strong need for safety and security. To have things in their life be stable and to reduce unknowns and identify dangers and threats. A place where they know all the rules. The second need is to be beyond reproach. As if they're saying, my actions are so justifiable, I can't be criticized. I don't want to be the one to blame or to be responsible for a screw up. And in fact, I'll spend time and energy avoiding that very position. And third is a strong need to or for control. For example, social interactions are tough because they are so unpredictable. So the C style may pull inward just to control the conversation and what they say. Now, the fears of a C include, as you might have guessed, criticism, don't like being criticized, slipshod methods, especially when designed by someone else, and just simply being wrong. Understanding these aspects of the C style can really help us understand interaction between two C styles. So, as a C, suppose you work with another C. People with the C style would often rather focus on facts than feelings, and this might affect the way you relate to each other. They probably appreciate that you also tend to stay on task and leave personal matters out of the discussion. Furthermore, because you both focus on logic more than relationships, and by the way, neither of you is likely to push for more openness, your communication between you will probably be more restricted and polite. Now, we examined the behavioral patterns and tendencies, preferences, needs, and even the fears of the C style. We learned in previous webinars that there's much more to style identification than and there are at least two ways in which similar styles may differ. Those two are aspects are inclination and proximity. Now, suppose we find the results of the everything DiSC of the two employees, and they're both C, respectively. Let's focus on that interaction. We see that one C primary style, let's call him Bob, has a strong inclination, what I mean at the outer edge of the circle, while having equal proximity to both the neighboring D and S quadrants. We see that the second C, also primary style, let's call her Jill, has a slight inclination, meaning not at the outer edge, rather at the inner edge of our circle toward the center of the model, while also having equal but closer proximity to the same D and S quadrants. Now, in this example, it means that Jill has more neighboring D and S influence on her primary C style than does Bob. Now let's see what the pace and priority model looks like overlaid on the everything DiSC model. It just helps reinforce what we're learning. Now remember, these two C's share a cautious and reflective pace and a questioning and skeptical priority. Bob is in the lower third of the vertical continuum, pace continuum that is, and in the left third roughly of the horizontal priority continuum. Okay, now look at Jill. She's almost in the middle of the pace and priority continua. In fact, she's basically in the center of the everything DiSC model. Now, Bob's dot near the outer edge of the circle means he's strongly inclined and will probably relate well to the characteristics associated with the C style. Bob is quite cautious and wants to avoid mistakes by thinking things through before making choices. It may be stressful for Bob to make a decision when the outcome is unpredictable or if he doesn't have enough information. He may overanalyze the situation and seek a unrealistic level of certainty. Bob may become annoyed when people don't adhere to the accepted rules and guidelines. Now, Jill's dot near the center of the model indicates she is slightly inclined and probably relates to the characteristics of the D and the I and the S, as well as the C, which is most natural to her. She's probably fairly systematic, may enjoy creating standards that help bring about high quality outcomes, and you are probably more understanding when other people like a more spontaneous approach. However, Jill still probably prefers a greater sense of control and stability than the D, the I, or the S. So Jill may quietly respect accepted rules and regulations, a little bit different than Bob's approach. My point here is that even two similar styles from the same quadrant may require some stretching from one or both people. This tool has key implications in peer-to-peer, manager, non-manager, team manager to team, and salesperson to customer interactions. Coming back up to a higher level, here's our model again to help remind you of where the C style fits into our grid. Notice that the dashed line around the C primary style slightly overlaps into neighboring quadrants. This is because, as we said of our cornerstone principles, everyone is a unique blend of all DiSC styles. So today we discussed two individuals from the same quadrant who share a cautious and reflective pace and a questioning and skeptical priority. and are even further defined when we consider inclination and proximity. You can see how lumping individuals into a style box can really overlook what's behind that style and what's inside that person. I encourage you to share this webinar with your peers and colleagues, and with a different topic every week. Many of my customers and clients are using these as learning aids and boosters to help grow the DiSC culture within their organizations. Sorry, I had a little hiccup there. Time for some DiSC humor. This is C with C on a road trip. So the first C gets in the car and says, without a greeting, I brought the map, hard copy and digital. My GPS continually recalculates should any issues arise. Buckle up, no riders without seatbelts. I'll just check the map one more time before we begin. Get in, shut the door. We're already 2 minutes late on departure time. The second C gets in the car and says, got it. I've been here for 9 minutes. Did you check the tires? Now, whatever your primary style, I hope this humorous exchange provides more insight into your style and or the other styles in your world, and provides a broad understanding as to to what makes sense for a successful interaction. So I hope this information addresses the challenges faced by your organization, whether your needs are employee engagement, conflict management, team building, or simply communication. DiSC is the research-based, proven leading training solution. DiSC has impacted more than 8 million learners in over 130,000 organizations and through 14 languages in over 70 countries worldwide. DiSC provides a quick, intuitive way to understand yourself and the needs and priorities of the people around you. And DiSC delivers immediate and lasting impact on the performance of your people, as well as the culture of your organization. And as always, the key to effectiveness through DiSC is understanding your and other styles, then using that knowledge for improved interactions. All right. Thank you for joining us today. Here's our contact info. Meanwhile, good luck with the DiSC. And before you go, I want to extend a resource for your benefit. If you'd like to discuss a complimentary live webinar introducing DiSC to your team or organization, use the emails shown below, info@traininglocation.com. And be sure and check out our other blogs at our website, traininglocation.com, and click on blogs. And before you close your screen, we always appreciate your like, or share, or download. And of course, for future learning videos, please click subscribe and receive your weekly bell alert for the next learning video. Thank you and goodbye until next time.